It's the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, the podcast about stories in business and in life with your hosts Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl.
G'day, and here we come live.
Can't take him anywhere, folks. G'day, viewers and listeners. Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl with the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, and special guest today, Lamont Ford. G'day, Lamont. How's it going?
I'm doing really good. How's everything with you guys?
Good, good. And he's got a smile on his face already, and I haven't told him any dad jokes. Hey, Paul, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Very happy to see that we have a Ford on the show instead of a Chevy.
Hello, Paul.
Bam.
He's never heard that before, I'm sure.
No, I made it up.
So Lamont, how did you come to know Paul?
Oh my Lord, here we go.
This goes back some years, right, Paul?
We need to extend the show now. Show extension coming up. Show extension coming up. Yes, go ahead, Lamont. How did you meet Paul?
2014, I entered into the insurance independent world with a company called WFG, World Financial Group.
I was 12 then. I was 12.
You were 12 then, absolutely. And actually, I was introduced to you by a correspondence, Hyacinth Cole, right?
Correct.
So she was living, I guess, the Middletown area.
Monticello, correct.
Corresponded, and you were teaching the life insurance courses, and we all kind of got together, and it's been I don't know if it's been downhill, uphill. How has it been?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. I think it's been uphill. And from now on our show, and from now on, when you reach out to me, Lamont, I have now a new title. So my disciples decided last week, they got together, a couple of them called me, and I now have a new title. I went from schmo to insurance person to insurance guru to insurance expert. And now the new title, like Sir Elton John, my new title is the insurance psychologist. So now my signature, so from now on, Ed has to refer to me as the insurance psychologist.
I do concur. A wealth of knowledge over the years that I've gleaned from. So thank you.
You're a blessing, Lamont. You're a blessing.
So Lamont, you've been doing this. I can't do the math. So how many years is that?
I can't do the math either.
2014, 7. Boy,
7
what
years.
does it matter with you boys?
Independently. I apologize, not independently, part-time, but since introduction 2014, right? So about 7 years.
Can you guys can hear?
I heard the audience. I heard the audience.
Yeah, I got a new toy. I found a way to have all these pre-done buttons that I'm having some fun with. So,
Lamont, did you hear that applause when
I did hear?
We said applause. Something about the insurance psychologist. Did you hear? I didn't hear any applause like that.
Hear the applause.
The guests get all the applause.
Well, you just got the kids cheering for you, because. So
they're way in the back.
That's right. That's right.
They're in the back. That's all. They're cared for.
They're on another screen.
So tell me, Lamont, how did you before insurance? What was your trajectory, or what were you doing in life? Were you working for somebody else, or did you own your own business prior to insurance?
Right. So total different trajectory, total different industry. I actually was in the IT space, the technology space. So I started my career in information technology back in 1996. And that's pretty much where I thought I was going to end up. I thought I was going to do IT for the rest of my life. I actually started a company, Valor Consulting, in 2012. So I pretty much was working for someone in corporate America and Manhattan, and all these other places in New Jersey as well. But on the side, I also had my own business. At some point, I left corporate in the corporate world and went full blown, I would say, for a good 4 years on my own.
IT
business in IT. It did fairly well. And then that's when IT came, that's when WFG came, and all these other things started kind of intertwining. it's kind of funny, you know, when you enter into that entrepreneur space, you kind of really understand how difficult it is and then how many hats you have to wear. I think I kind of was wearing too many hats and it just got too difficult for me. And I went back into, I guess, the corporate world until COVID, where that kind of brought me out of the corporate industry back into entrepreneurship, where I think I've kind of learned from my mistakes, and here I am today.
So that's a good point. The question I have is, did you grow up in an entrepreneurial family? Did you have relatives that were business owners?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So I tend to find, following on from that, I tend to find that those of us that grew up around entrepreneurs, the jump to entrepreneurship is pretty easy, right?
Right.
And the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur starts something from nothing. A business owner builds a small business, and that's what I was around. We didn't know what an entrepreneur was. I heard the French have a word for that, but you know what I grew up. That was funny, guys. I'm just telling you, that was funny right there. What I grew up around was. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, hang on a sec. The French have a word for that. Yes. So we were small business owners. My nan was top 10 Tupperware dealer in Australia. My dad was a roofer. My mum sold Avon. You know, everybody around me, my aunts and uncles had used bookstores and fast food chicken restaurants and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So how hard for you was it to move from corporate America into doing your own thing, your own IT thing? What was the mindset? Because I try and teach everybody all the time, you need to have a side hustle. You need to be doing something on the side, because the only one that's got your welfare interest is you.
I get it. I mean, I definitely understand. With me, and I'm glad you used that word mindset. It's all about mindset, because I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. You know, you have to just have a determination to say, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm entering it. The word is entrepreneur. It's enter risk. But you shouldn't have a mindset that, you know, I'm going to enter a risk. I'm entering something that I know that I'm going to do, and I'm going to take off with it. So for me, with IT was a lot easier entering into the entrepreneur world versus entering into the independent world of insurance. Why? Insurance, I knew nothing of. IT, however, I've done it for years. I've done it when I was in high school. I've done it when I was in college. When I entered my first job was working for Compact Computers. I'm dating myself. I know I look young, but I'm dating myself. So Compact Computers, I work for them. And then I worked with HP for, you know, a long time. Then I worked for independent companies who were third party to these huge companies, right? And I learned so much of the back end. So I basically took what I was learning and I just applied it on my own. And I was really successful, especially with the different technology tools that are there that you can actually use. So to enter in that space, it was really easy. Finding customers were pretty much feet in the street and word of mouth. It wasn't getting on a call.
You said
Yeah.
feet on the street, right?
Feet on the street, just getting out, walking around, going to different companies saying, listen, here's my business card. Here's some information about me. If you need some IT assistance, give me a call. And then
hey, that's how we roll on the East Coast, Ed. That's how we roll.
Well,
hey, Lamont,
Lamont,
how young were you when you started working with these electronic devices and IT, and how young?
My first time.
I'm interested in.
Let's see here. I mean, I was probably in high school. So, I mean, maybe 15, 16 years old.
All right. So you are a little older, because when I teach class all the time, well, not all the time, but often, I have young women in there that are in driving education class that are pregnant. And I say to them, you know, we don't do sonograms anymore. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, we don't do sonograms anymore, because now in the electronic age, we don't need to do sonograms. You just wait until the child is born. And if it comes out and it's a little girl, it comes out with a little iPhone. And if it's a little boy, it comes out with a little Android. So we know it's a boy or a girl by how it shoots out of the womb, and it comes right out, Wi-Fi, looking for Wi-Fi. So I thought you are a little bit older. I thought you were one of those babies that launched right out of the womb.
Not at all.
It was on an iPad at 2.
Not at all.
These little kids now, 2, 3 years old, I see them with iPads and they're like Zoom on the iPad.
Listen, my first beeper was in college, and it was a beeper. It was on my hip, right? They would call you. I had to go to the payphone with my quarter, put that in there, and then call it to tell me who called me, and then call them back.
Right.
Hey, Ed, did you have beepers? Did you have pagers in Australia?
Actually, I was here when I got my first pager. So 1990, I landed here in the US as a legal immigrant. Just saying. I played by all the rules. I filled out all the paperwork.
Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen the documentation to prove that yet.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But you ever see that movie Green Card by Gerard Depardieu? Back from the late 80s, early 90s, was about this French guy marrying an American woman, and they were like trying to scam the INS. Anyway, it's a good movie.
Did you see that, Lamont? Did you see that movie, Lamont?
You should watch it.
Man, he's aging himself. He's a lot older than the two of us.
They took Alice and I into two separate rooms at the immigration department, and they were asking questions like, what side of the bed do you sleep on? You know, where did you guys have your wedding reception? Because evidently there's a lot of people from other countries trying to scam and get into America. Go figure. I wonder why. Because I say Australian by birth, American by choice. But getting us back on track, my first beeper I got from a beeper company, right? And I got accused of being a drug dealer. I got accused of being a drug dealer because I'm like one of the first people with a beeper. Like, are you a drug dealer? I'm like, yeah, my drug of choice is happiness. I spread smiles wherever I go. And he said I was full of it. I said, thank you very much. He said, I didn't mean smiles. That's the way I was choosing to take it. I mean, you know. So anyway, so I got accused of being a drug dealer. It must have been my complexion.
I think it was the hat. It might have been the hat.
I didn't have the hat back then. That's a recent addition.
Oh.
Last 2 years.
It might have been the way you say Tupperware. How do you say
Tupperware? Tupperware. Tattoos. You guys say tattoos.
Listen, I'm going to say this. My wife and I kind of viewed some of the other episodes prior to me coming on, and we died from beginning to end just laughing. You guys are awesome. I'm telling you.
All right, but we try to run a show that's very direct, very honest. Lamont, share with our audience, if you did that, are you on medication now? Did you have to take some medication before you came on the show? Since Ed is dealing, clearly, I don't have any part of this audience.
I think Ed's the happiness pill.
Yeah, I'm not
happiness pill. Yeah,
I also
want like happiness.
I'll bet you money, Paul. I'll bet you money.
I don't have any.
That vase with dead sticks in it beside Lamont's head was not put there by Lamont. I'm just saying 100% certain that dead grass in a vase, it's a grass vase, dead grass in a vase was not put there by any one of our three persuasions.
Yes, my wife did put that there. Yes, she is the stylist of the.
She is. Yes, she is.
Yes,
she is.
Exactly. It's like what's that insurance ad where the guy's like teaching kids not to become like their parents? We're seeing a lot on Hulu right now. But like the room where he walks into and the lady's got all the cushions on the couch.
Oh, right.
Guys don't put cushions on the couch. Like Alice said, let's go to Home Goods. I want to get a cushion. I'm like, what? What do you need a cushion for? So I showed her, I went to the store and I said, sat on the couch, right? And there's a cushion on the couch. And I say, what do guys do? As their butt is lowering towards the couch, you grab the cushion and you chuck it off.
I'm guilty of that. I get yelled at that. She yells at me a lot because of that. You're right.
Which store did you go to, Ed? Which store?
Home Goods. I'm looking for
we lost that sponsor. We lost that. We lose more sponsors on this show. Do not buy a cushion at Home Goods, or buy one that's soft enough so that when you throw it at your 52-inch TV.
Well, that's only when your team is losing, right?
I got an Allstate shirt on today. I don't have the Viking stuff on. Don't start. Don't start about my Minnesota Vikings. Lamont knows my Vikings.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't
Minnesota
have it.
strong, baby.
I'm surprised. What happened?
How many home runs did they hit this year?
3.
Cool. Yep. That's about when I start talking American sports, like I mix them all up. Like, why do they got to pull the chain out? What's wrong with a laser pointer? I don't understand that. Oh, it's tradition. Okay, if it was tradition, we'd still be churning our own damn butter.
Lamont, did we have you on to talk about football? What does it matter when? Ed, where is your cup?
I have my Ed and Paul cup, and I have my Trade Bank cup. I don't have my Yoda cup today. And evidently, you promised one of our guests a cup, and so I'm losing one of my cups to Robin. She wasn't even on the show. You like promised her one of our cups. I got to take her a cup now.
Yeah, but not until she's on the show. No cup, no show, no cup.
Okay, there you go. I'll tell her that. So Lamont, getting back to why we're here, one of the things we like to eventually talk about on this show is what would you consider? Sorry, what was that, Sir Paul?
Business. It's not Sir Paul. Right. It's the insurance psychologist.
Insurance psychologist. Got it. Lamont, squirrels. You know, we chase squirrels all the time. Lamont, we have a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast. You know, that could be wishful thinking at this point, but it's happening. What do you think your biggest tips in business, either when you failed or when you've succeeded? What are some things that people should keep in mind?
Get back up and try again. Don't stop. One thing I learned, honestly, is what you might deem as a failure or you may deem as an overlook. Case in point, marketing, getting your name out there today because of social media. You know, you want to get whatever it is, that product that you're pushing, right, in front of people, customer facing. You might think by pushing that every day or every other day that it's getting on people's nerves. But the very end time that you don't put that is actually when people are looking for it. And case in point, I was, doing a lot of marketing and just getting the word out on the MnL Agency out in front of social media. And I was just really consistent with it. And I got, I guess, discouraged because I didn't get a lot of feedback. The moment I stopped, that's when the feedback came. Hey, what happened to? I was looking forward to the information that you were sharing and giving. So I would say that what you might deem as maybe inconsistent or not inconsistent, not worthy, I would say continue doing that. And even if you do fail, continue, get back up, learn from what you think you may have made a mistake in, and just get up and start all over again. I'm telling you, at some point, you're gonna catch the fish, right? You gotta throw it out there, and at some point you're gonna catch something, reel it in, and guess what? Take it off, clean it up, do what you need to do, but throw it back out there.
This young man has been moving forward such wisdom. He's been moving forward since I known him. With all this wisdom, I've got to change classes with this wisdom. But go ahead.
So you can see clearly now. How's that sound?
Absolutely. Yeah. Lamont's wisdom. Lamont has always, since I've known him, this young man has always looked at adversity and issues. He reaches out to the insurance psychologist, asks the question, and we always try to give good advice, right, Lamont? Like we try to give good advice on this show. And you've always worked on moving forward. Even in the most recent situation that we're working together on, in a company that was just approved in New York, while waiting for it to be approved and everything, you're always working on moving forward, always working on a servant's heart, helping people and moving forward. You also should take a minute to tell the listeners about some of the things that you do besides insurance. There's more that you do than just insurance. There's some really powerful things you do to help people with their finances.
Right. I mean, well, the name of the company is the MnL Agency. It's the acronym for my wife and my nickname. So Lamont Monty, Leanna Lee, MnL, right? So the MnL Agency, insurance is a portion of it, but we also do credit repair. We also do wealth management and retirement planning. So we're helping those that have, 401ks that are vested. Now we take that, we put that into annuity, help it to grow. And guess what? Now you have money. When we take it out, put it into a pension, of course, you have money for the rest of your life. It's, as opposed to taking a lump sum, now using it and letting it deplete. We're trying to work, one of the biggest things for our company is changing the illiteracy narrative, helping people to understand how money works, and this thing called legacy, right? I'm a believer, right, in the Lord and in Jesus. And my thing is this. There's a scripture in the Bible, Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. But how do we go about doing that? That's why the MnL Agency is in existence, because we want to show you how.
I've been listening. That's some great points, Lamont. I've been listening to another podcast called The Millionaire's Choice by Tony Bradshaw, not Terry Bradshaw, not back on football. Tony Bradshaw, The Millionaire's Choice. And he has a different guest on each week that has a different view on how to achieve that goal of being millionaires. And Tony's a Christian too, right? And for those of us that are Christian, one of the things that comes up is, is talking about profits okay? Is talking about money okay? And a lot of the times, no slamming on the churches, because they've got to operate too. They need tithes, they need donations to operate. They need the money. Some of us have talents that we can help around the church, cook the meals, help the homeless, do all that sort of stuff. And some of us have the talent to go out and make money and then give that money to the church.
Absolutely.
Right. So whatever your talents are, the Bible already talks about talents. And this isn't turning into a religious show, but right. Tony on this Millionaire's Choice podcast, also a Christian, he's also saying, we've got to start talking about wealth creation for Christians, as well as for everybody else that wants it. But Christians need to understand that money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And Alice and I have always found that we can do more stuff with money than we can do without. We can help more people with money. People like you, Lamont, and Paul, and myself, and the millions of other Christians out there that want everybody to prosper need to teach people these wealth habits, because you know what? We're not taught about that in school. We're not taught how to become wealthy in school. I love going into schools and talking about how to start businesses, because business wealth to me is when I run a business, I can help a lot of other people. I'm sure that in the insurance field, and you guys could attest to this, there is no better feeling than signing up that person on life insurance and they weren't sure and they were hesitant, and then you sign them up on life insurance and God forbid, but something bad happens to one of the people signed up on life insurance, and you're able to create peace of mind for the people left behind.
Absolutely.
Just spoke about it on a podcast Saturday night with 100 representatives in California.
Wow.
Yeah. Good book that I shared on that podcast. 2 great books, by the way, Lamont. You talked about this earlier. Go for No. Go for No.
Yes.
Go for No. Matter of fact, the woman purchased 1,000 Go for No books for the people in her organization. 1,000.
Wow.
Go for No, right? Mm-hmm. And also How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. Another great book. How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. But Go for No, to me, second greatest book to the Bible. It really is. Every person, every salesperson should read that Go for No book. Easy read, but talking about working our way through fear and adversity to achieve success, which is what you've done. We only have a few minutes left. Share with us a little bit how our audience can reach you and how they can have an opportunity to utilize some of these services that you give to the community, and some of the community. Also talk a little bit about some of the community stuff that you've done.
All right. Well, we have a website, we have social media, we have an 800 number as well. So the website will be HTTP, whatever, or just, instead of the typing in www, just write the MnL Agency. The M is in Monty, N is in Nancy, L is in Lee, agency.com. We have a Instagram, the MnL Agency. We have Facebook, the MnL Agency. You can do a search to find us there. We also have an 800 number. So that number is 866-686-9902. And again, we have a 4-step process. And that process is, even before I go into that, we've married life insurance with credit repair and financial services. That's pretty much what we did, that whole synergy. And the 4-step process is, 1, evaluating your credit, seeing where your credit is, making sure that you have proper insurance, because some people have insurance but not proper. So we analyze that. Even if you have insurance, we'll look at that and we can, give you some pointers and recommend some things for you. From there, we look at wealth management. We want to build the wealth that you currently have. Let's try to increase that growth, right? And then based off of that, now we can talk about retirement planning. We assist people of all, works of life. I mean, not only in the churches. I mean, this is for everyone. This is for families. These are for individuals. These are for the young. These are for those that are older. Case in point, I just this morning before you guys, someone age 77 came into the home office, and we did an annuity for them. So we took something that they had some money that they were inherited. Unfortunately, it was their daughter that passed that inherited that money over to them. God bless her soul for that. But she was able to take that. She really needed it, put it into an annuity. It's going to grow for about a year or so. We're going to pull it out. Now she has money for the rest of her life. These are the things that I want to do to try to make change and affect change and help people.
There you go. That's great. Well, hey, Lamont, thanks for being on the show. We loved having you. We'd like to talk to you again, I'm sure, as we get on down the road a bit. And can you shoot me an email with all that contact details so we can put it in the show notes?
I will definitely.
Great.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
And
it.
also, Lamont, I want you to meet. See, our guests can't wait to be on the show. We have Kevin Jones. I think we have Kevin Jones. We're not seeing him, but Kevin Jones is going to be on the show today. Kevin Jones, are you out there? Kevin
Sounds
Jones.
like a seance.
He may be having technical difficulty. Kevin is coming to us from Seattle, Washington. Where are you at, MnL Agency, Lamont Ford?
I'm actually in Queens, New York City.
Good. I got somebody to visit next time I go to Queens. That's
Shout
awesome.
out to Queens.
Well,
all right, Lamont. Well, it is 12:01, so we really appreciate you being on the show. Great information for our audience. Thank you for putting up with Ed for the 30 minutes. And now get out. It's 12:01, so you got to get out. Once we're past the time, out.
You can tell Paul's from New York.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get out. You used to that in Queens. Get out.
Wada bing, wada boom. God bless you guys. Thank you.
God bless you, my brother. Thank you.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. Thanks for listening. As always, we appreciate it. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube. Thanks a lot and have a great day.